Before you skip this video, ask yourself one question. What if the reason your prayers feel unanswered is not because God isn't listening, but because you've been approaching Him the wrong way? What if most people, including faithful Christians, have misunderstood what Jesus actually taught about talking to God? Because today, we're going to uncover something powerful, and by the end of this video, the way you pray may completely change forever. Stay with me. Because the final lesson Jesus gave about prayer is something most people have never truly understood. There are millions of people praying every single day. Some pray out of fear. Some pray out of routine. Some only pray when life falls apart. But Jesus showed us something deeper. Prayer was never meant to be a performance. It was meant to be a relationship. And that changes everything. First, the biggest mistake people make. One of the biggest mistakes people make when talking to God is believing they need perfect words. Maybe you've done this before. You start praying and suddenly feel nervous. You wonder, am I saying the right thing? Does God hear me? What if I pray wrong? But listen carefully. God is not waiting for a perfect speech. He's waiting for an honest heart. Jesus himself warned about people who prayed only to impress others. In Matthew 6, Jesus said, "When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites." Why? Because some people wanted to look spiritual instead of being spiritually connected. And honestly, many people still do this today. They repeat religious words without meaning them. They speak to God with their mouth, while their heart feels distant. But God sees beyond words. He sees your heart. And sometimes the most powerful prayer is simply, "God, I need you." Think about this. A loving father doesn't ignore his child because they use the wrong words. And God is far more loving than any human parent could ever be. So stop believing you need fancy prayers to reach heaven. God hears broken prayers. He hears crying prayers. He hears silent prayers. Sometimes the prayer that changes your life is whispered through tears nobody else sees. If you've ever felt like your prayers weren't enough, comment, "God hears me." And if this message is speaking to your spirit already, take a second to like this video and subscribe, because someone out there desperately needs this reminder today. Second, Jesus taught us to pray with faith. Now here's another mistake many people make. They pray, but deep down, they don't believe anything will happen. And Jesus talked about this too. He said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it." Notice that word, believe, because prayer without faith becomes empty repetition. Imagine asking God for guidance while already believing nothing will change. Imagine praying for peace while feeding fear every single day. Faith means trusting God even before the answer appears. That's hard sometimes, especially when bills are piling up, anxiety keeps growing, relationships are breaking, life feels unfair. But faith begins where control ends. And maybe that's why God allows some seasons of waiting. Because waiting reveals what we truly trust. Third, talk to God like a real person. Here's something many people don't realize. God doesn't want a distant conversation. He wants closeness. Jesus often went alone to pray, not because he needed religion, but because he desired connection with the Father. And maybe that's what your soul has been missing too. Not more religion, but real connection. Talk to God honestly. Tell him what scares you, what hurts you, what confuses you, what you're ashamed of, what you secretly cry about at night. because nothing surprises God. He already knows. Yet he still wants you to come to him, not because he needs information, but because relationship requires openness. And in a moment, I'm going to share the one thing Jesus said that completely changes how we should approach God. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly talked to God? Not out of habit, but from your heart? Think about that. Fourth, stop praying only during emergencies. Many people treat prayer like an emergency button. They disappear from God during good times, then suddenly return when everything falls apart. But real relationship doesn't work like that. Imagine only calling someone when you need money or help. Eventually, the relationship becomes empty. God wants daily connection, not occasional desperation. Talk to him in the morning, while driving, during stress, during success, in silence. In gratitude, prayer is not limited to church buildings. You can speak to God anywhere. And sometimes the holiest moments happen when nobody else is around. 5. The most powerful lesson Jesus taught now. Here's the lesson that changes everything. Jesus taught us to begin prayer with surrender. Your will be done. That means trusting God's wisdom above our own desires. And honestly, this is difficult because sometimes we want immediate answers, quick miracles, easy solutions. But God sees what we cannot see. Sometimes the closed door is protection. Sometimes the delay is preparation. Sometimes the pain is transformation. And one day, you may look back and thank God for prayers he didn't answer the way you expected, because his plan was greater than your temporary understanding. So, are you talking to God the wrong way? Maybe the answer isn't about saying better words. Maybe it's about being honest, having faith, building relationship, and surrendering your heart. God is not searching for perfect people. He's searching for willing hearts. And if you've been feeling distant from God lately, this is your invitation to come back. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now, because God has never stopped listening. And maybe this video was his way of reaching you today. If this message touched your heart, comment, God, teach me to pray. And share this video with someone who needs encouragement right now. Don't forget to subscribe for more faith-filled messages that strengthen your spirit and bring you closer to God. God bless you.